Hello everyone, welcome to Commerce Bees. In today's video, I'm going to discuss with you the last topic of the objectives of business, that is the national objectives. If you have not watched my previous videos on objectives of business, then you can find the link in the description box where you can find the detailed explanation on economic objectives, social objectives, and also on human objectives. In today's video, let's discuss in detail the national objectives of business. National objectives means the objectives or the goals of the nation. Being an important part of the country, every business must have the objective of fulfilling national goals. As business is a very important part of the country, all the business should help in the achievement of the national goals. It should set the objectives in such a way that it in turn should help in the achievement or the fulfillment of the national goals. Business activities should be conducted keeping these goals of the country in mind, which may be called the national objectives of business. So, the business activities or the activities of the business should be planned and it should be conducted in such a way that it in turn helps in the achievement of the goals of the country. So, that goals we are calling as the national objectives of business. To explain the national objectives of business in a simple way, we can say that when a business is setting its objectives, keeping in mind the national objectives of business, then those objectives we are calling as the national objectives of business. So let's see what are the national objectives of business. In that, the first is the optimum utilization of resources. Optimum means the maximum. So optimum utilization of resources means the maximum utilization of resources. Resources are scarce. As we all know that the resources are scarce, business should use the nation's resources in the best possible manner and minimize the wastage of scarce natural resources. So a business should use the nation's natural resources in a maximum possible manner and it should try to minimize the wastage of the resources. Wastage of scarce resources is a loss not only to the business but also to the nation. As the business is using the natural resources of the nation, that's why we are saying that the wastage of resources is a loss not only to the business but it is a loss to the nation. Proper allocation and utilization of scarce resources is essential for rapid and balanced economic growth. So the resources should be allocated and it should be utilized in a uniform manner. Then only we can achieve the rapid and balanced economic growth. So this is the first national objectives of business, that is the optimum utilization of resources. The second point is national self-reliance. Self-reliance means the ability to depend on yourself rather than relying on others, or it simply means self-sufficient. Business should help the government in increasing exports and adding to the foreign exchange reserves of the country and restricting imports of goods. This will help government to achieve economic independence. So every business should try to increase the exports because it will, if a business sells its goods or services to the foreign countries, then the foreign currency will flow into our country or into our economy. That will add up to the foreign exchange reserves of the country, and it should restrict the imports because if we purchase from other countries, then what we have to do, we have to pay to that foreign country in the dollars. So what is happening is the currency is flowing out of the country. So every business should try to increase the exports and it should try to restrict the imports. So what will happen if we do this? It will help in the economic independence. So a country can become economically independent if it exports more and it imports less. So this is called as the national self-reliance. The second is development of MSMEs What is the meaning of MSMEs? MSMEs means micro, small and medium enterprises. So all the big organizations should encourage the development of these micro, small and medium enterprises, because it will help in the employment generation of the people of the country. It will help to give the employment to the unemployed people. And how they can help these MSMEs is, the big organizations can purchase the raw materials or other inputs from the MSMEs, and it can help to encourage or develop the MSMEs, which in turn helps in the generation of the employment. So this is also one of the national objectives of business, to develop the MSMEs. The fourth point is development of backward areas. Business is expected to give preference to the industrialization of backward regions of the country. Why a business should be developed in the backward regions of the country? Because if a business is developed or it is set up in the backward regions of the country, it will help to develop that backward region. Balanced regional development is necessary for progress in the country. So if a business is set up in the backward regions, it will help to develop the infrastructure, it will help in the generation of employment, which will in turn help in the regional development of the country. It will also help to raise the standard of living in backward areas. How we can raise the standard of living is, if the business is set up or the industries are set up in the backward regions of the country, then it will provide the employment to the people of the backward region, which in turn helps to raise their standard of living. Government offers special incentives to the businessmen who set up factories in backward areas. So there is special incentives from the government side to the people who are ready to set up their industries in the backward regions, in the form of subsidies or incentives, because every government want a balanced regional development. So how a country can achieve the balanced regional development? Through the setup of the industries or the businesses in the backward regions, it can help in the development of those backward regions. So government will always help those people or those businessmen who are ready to set up their industries or business in the backward regions, which helps the country to achieve the balanced regional development. So this is the last point in the national objectives of business. I hope you understood the topic of the national objectives of business. If you like the topic, please do like, share and subscribe to Commerce Bees. Thank you so much.